Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 471 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. How you guys doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing great. Doing great. A little shook, but
A
I'm
little
doing great.
shook.
Yeah.
Is that why you forgot your microphone again this morning, or
It may have been, but we're not going to talk about that.
maybe that can be one of your resolutions? I know people don't really do resolutions, but maybe we'll do something fun and
is to, is to remember to turn on my microphone before we
yeah,
start every day. I'm sorry. I have
that
it muted.
that could be something we work on. You're
Yeah.
you're you're new at this. You'll get it.
It's, we haven't done like 400 and some episodes of this.
You'll you'll get it one of these times.
One of these times, I'll
Good
figure it out.
morning, everybody. Mike, Thursday night football. Football for the weekend starts tonight.
Yes,
The
it
Jets at the
does.
Browns. The Jets coming in with a 6-9 record going against the 10-5 Browns. This game, it doesn't mean anything, but it could mean something because it does mean something, but other games could be more possible. So this one really doesn't mean
Hmm.
anything. But let's just say in this crazy season that we have here, maybe the Jets could go get a win and help us out a little bit. But I hardly see the Browns losing the last two games of the years with what we would need from them in order to get that particular help. So I'm not so concerned about the game, but I'll root for the Jets, and I hope that the Jets win, and we could take advantage somewhere like that. But as I said, you're looking for them to lose their last two, and you don't want. I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket.
No, no, no. Like we just need what God, Steelers just need to worry about themselves. Win out. I hope what Jacksonville loses one, and Indy and the Texans they play each other, so there's that factor right there. Just win out and hope for Jacksonville to win one of their two or lose one of their two.
Well, if you look at the chart, Mike, it's either there's also a Buffalo loss on there. There's also
Yeah.
so I mean you got to look at all those games and think to yourself, do you really think that all those games are going to be won by the teams that would hurt us? I mean, yeah, of course it's a possibility, but there's a chance somebody else is going to lose in there somewhere,
Yeah.
and I like our chances. I do like our chances. I just think that this game is going to be a challenge. A lot to talk about today for the Seattle Seahawks game. Of course, this is our vacation schedule, so I just want to put it out there. Will be we're on today, but then we'll be off until Tuesday, and then we're going to be starting off the 2024 year on Tuesday. So we're going to talk a lot today about the games and do the things that we would usually do tomorrow. And
Hmm.
it's all kind of scrunched in because, because Mike needs an extra day off.
I
And
do need. Then I found out like my work schedule change is on me. I
I get you. I get you.
yeah. So then you drop this in my lap. I'm like, well, what's going on here?
We do got a whole bunch of new things coming up next year. We are working on, we're planning, we're putting together. So that's going to be exciting. You're going to want to
Hmm.
make sure you tune back in 2024. A lot of big things going on moving forward. Mike, let me go over a couple things that I do have from last week,
Yes.
numbers and such. There is a new passing rating leader in the NFL. Mason Rudolph passes
Base
Brock Purdy for the lead with a 117.8
Rudolph.
games.
Rudy.
Rudy.
Quarterbacks with minimum one game played. Mason
I,
Rudolph is the leader in the NFL with passer rating, Mike. So there
I'll
you go.
take it, man. Hey, well done, Mason Rudolph. Well done, well deserved.
Even though it
That's
was against one of the worst passing defenses
but
Derpy, I don't
luckily,
need your facts, man. He went out there and did it, and he scored touchdowns while doing it.
against one of the worst passing
you know
defenses
He went
what?
out
fans
there and scored touchdowns and did it.
And that's going in our favor because we have another one of the worst defenses in the league coming up. I think the big challenge is going to be what our defense can do versus what their defense can do. I think you basically know what both of these offenses are all about. Pittsburgh is, I don't have to explain to you about Pittsburgh's offense. Seattle's offense, and they're okay. I mean, they got these three receivers that could run all over the place, but I don't know if again, it's going to come down to what these two defenses can do. If our defense can stand up to the challenge and stop them guys, I know that their defense is weak. So if they could stand up to the challenge to stop us, a couple of things that I did notice, we are going to be seeing a heavy dose of Artie Burns because Devin Witherspoon has an ailing hip injury. So if you're looking forward to seeing former Steelers playing, we're going to see a heavy dose of Artie Burns. I didn't see much on Devin Bush. I know last week he was talking a little bit of shit on the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Steelers, but
Redemption game, he was calling it. Redemption
Yeah.
game. Revenge
So
game, one of those two.
so he wants to win, but
Yeah, he wants to win. I hope Artie Burns doesn't turn into rookie Artie Burns to where he was a competent cornerback. He can be, Artie Burns from then on,
I'm
from year
confident.
2 to
I'm
now.
confident that he'll be bad.
Yeah. I always
Um,
have a soft spot in my heart for Artie Burns. Yeah.
Currently, the Seahawks they sit in the 7th spot in the NFC side. They're
So they got something to play off.
they're in the middle of scratching
too.
and clawing just like we are. I mean, it's not going to be a game where like they throw in the towel like Denver did. Obviously,
Let's do or die.
pulling the plug on Russell Wilson. Sickly enough, people are already chalking him in here in Pittsburgh, which I that's never going to happen. I got to tell you.
On a 1 year prove it deal, I might take him. I was looking at his stats today. He'd be a nice addition.
He stinks. That guy stinks. If you've been watching him at all, he's not that quarterback that he was in Seattle. He's you know what, Mike? What caught my eye last game, and I watched them. They were on TV. They first 3 quarters, the Denver Broncos, they literally ran that same offense that we were doing with Kenny, where Russell Wilson just kept passing out in these little bubble flats, and out for 3 quarters they couldn't do nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the 4th quarter comes, all of a sudden he turns into Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He scores 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. So again, I don't know if this is the league messing with things, because you can't go from this where you can't even move the ball
to just moving it down the field.
Right. And this was against whoever it was, just had Detroit. I think it was the Detroit game where they let up, or whoever it was that let up Minnesota. They let up 1 touchdown in 12 quarters. Seattle or Denver, I'm sorry, went on to score 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter of that game. Mike, it just didn't make sense. Again, I don't know if this is the league, if something's going on, but again, they dinked, they dunked, they did everything for 3 quarters. They could not move the football. It was insane. And then they managed to put up 3 touchdowns 1 quarter against the Vikings. I don't know if this is because Russell Wilson's still okay, or like I said, if something's weird's going on in the league.
Yeah, like completion percentage wise, it's like one of his better seasons. 66.4%. His best year ever was 68 3 years ago. So he's doing better than like his career average. He's about over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks. Those are good numbers, but like, is it that offense? Is it that head coach? Is it him? Why are they struggling? But on a 1 year prove it deal, if he can put up those numbers in the Steelers offense, Steelers would be sitting pretty right now.
If we could get a guy, maybe in the draft, like a future franchise player, somebody that we could get early enough, and maybe have Russell Wilson play next season in like as you said, in a 1 year deal, maybe something like that, just to kind of get the new guy,
like clear out the quarterback room and just start fresh again. You know what? You can't be afraid to move on. You can't be afraid to pull the plug early on any player in the league anymore, because you can look at San Francisco. They traded 3 first-round picks for Trey Lance. He couldn't fit into that system. They luck out, get Purdy at the last pick in the draft, and fits that system well. You can't be afraid to change it up.
I don't know. I'm just not sold on the idea of Russell Wilson. I would have taken Russell Wilson in his prime, but he's
I know. Like even in his prime though, he was surrounded by that great defense.
Yeah.
He puts up good numbers. Like you look at his numbers, they're good numbers, but a lot of quarterbacks now put up good numbers if you're, in the I don't know. I don't know. It's just ever since he blew that 1 Super Bowl, I've just haven't trusted him since.
If I was going off a hearsay and I hadn't seen him
play, he didn't blow that. The coach blew that.
Let's say he still threw the pass.
And if I wouldn't have seen him play recently, and I'm just kind of going by his name and what he's done in the past, I'd say maybe. But I've literally seen him play a few times this year, and he doesn't look much better than what we have, and that's that's scary. So
I say we ride out the Mason train rest of the year, see what happens, bring him back in on another 1 year deal, and have a true quarterback competition.
You know what I wrote?
Get rid of Mitch, have Kenny, have Mason, and a third arm, and have a true competition where it's 100% open.
You know what I thought would be crazy? What if Mason Rudolph turns out to be like the next Tom Brady? And he ends out like he plays around for the next 12 years and wins Super Bowls and becomes like one of the most elite passers in the league. And wouldn't that be wild?
That would be something
The
different. That would be
greatest
something
comeback
right
story
there.
ever.
That would be a story. Yeah.
Hey, he's 28 years. He's only 3 years older than Kenny. So you know what? It could happen. I know this is not a big sample size, but on Twitter they were showing like passing drills on from the Steelers practice. Mason throws, boom, it's right in the number. Kenny throws, the guy has to reach up here. Mitch throws, it's down in the dirt. I'm like, on that throw right there, I'm taking Mason.
Yeah.
Just for this game, see what happens. But no, like I think Mitch has to go, and then you have Kenny. You bring back Mason, and then whether it's a rookie, a veteran, and have a true quarterback competition towards 100% open, and best man wins, no matter what draft status, free agent status, contract status. Best player wins.
Yeah. We got to figure something out,
Gotta figure
guys.
something out.
But
I don't care who's back there as long as they win. If it has to be helmet head
Exactly.
or tiny hands,
but you know, this
I'll
is the thing
swallow my
about
tongue and
you got to
and root
understand
for 'em.
about Russell Wilson. Denver, they're onto something. And if you noticed, since John Elway retired, he won a couple Super Bowls. He was that franchise guy. They went on, they lost a while, and they went and got what? Another franchise quarterback in Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
They won. He left. They lost a little while. Their plan was to go get another franchise quarterback who was Russell Wilson. That was their plan. Let's go get this guy. He'll be our
Yeah.
next franchise quarterback. He's won. We'll win a Super Bowl. And this is kind of Denver's thing. This is what they do.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, if he failed their plan, I'm not sure if this is the guy I don't know. I'm not sold on Russell Wilson, guys.
I'm not either.
I think he'll be a slight improvement, but again, if you watch him this year, he's just a shell of his former self.
Yeah. And what they're doing though is really shady. They're like, hey, we want you to rework your contract, and he's like, God, no. They're like, fine, we're shutting you down for the year.
Yeah,
And like he has incentives in his contract that he could hit, and they'd have to pay him more. They're being kind of dirty and shady.
they're
with
definitely
it.
being dirty.
Oh, it's very blatantly dirty and shady with it, and it's kind of openly tanking as well too, because they can go out there, they can play spoiler, in these next two games, and like, we're all because they don't want to pay him money.
Right.
Will
if you're out of the playoffs,
Probably
I guess
not.
you can start playing them games. If
you can, yeah. But it's the competitive nature of the league, blah blah blah. I can see that being argued. But some people were saying like, will the league investigate, blah blah blah? Probably not, because they're like, no, anything to screw over the player, the league's not going to investigate.
A few other things going on. Mason Cole said prior to the game against Cincinnati, we were wondering what it was last week that Coach Tomlin said and did to get this team to go out and play the game that they played. Mason Cole said prior to the team's win over Cincinnati, head coach Mike Tomlin told the offensive line, you just got to let your nuts hang out.
Simple as that.
Coaching 101 from Coach Tomlin.
The standard is the standard.
Hey, linemen are simple creatures. They're smart, but they're simple creatures. You got to speak to them as simples. And that's all they needed to hear.
And this certainly was effective because Isaac Seumalo, Mike, for Cincinnati, Derpy, for 30 passing snaps. And 30 passing snaps, Seumalo let up 0 pressures and 0 sacks.
But Kevin Dotson.
Yeah.
But Kevin Dotson, that's all I hear. Seumalo every week has these great grades, great pressure stats, great runs.
This is Seumalo with a nagging injury all year too. He's had this shoulder. The guy hasn't practiced in weeks. You know,
he hasn't been healthy all year, and is still playing a hell of a. He's playing damn well, and he's having to babysit Dan Moore and Mason Cole. Imagine what happens if you get move Broderick over and get a competent center. You will see a better Seumalo.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of work this new off season. We found this out. We found out what we got to do. We found out some things that we need to work on.
I think the line just needs a tweak. Just a tweak. Flop your tackles and get a brand new center. They'll be damn good.
How do you handle the inside linebacker thing moving forward? I mean, you're going in the draft time. You have a bunch of guys that have been around the block. I mean, a couple of guys that we talked about getting injured a lot. They come in, they get whole new injury issues.
Yeah, there's different body parts that have been fine for them.
So I mean, how do you handle this inside line? It's going to be a fun off season. I can tell you that. Fun.
If there's someone there like in the first, second round, like there's a couple. Eichenberg, you got the cat out of Michigan. If he's coming out, I forget his name right now off the top of my head. Then you have Jeremiah Trotter Jr. There's options there in the draft. I haven't even started looking at free agency yet, to be honest. So I don't even know where to go there. And like you said, Brian, like these guys, like it's new injuries. If it was like the same injury they've had repeatedly in their career, like, oh, okay. But it's something new with these guys. Mason Cole's never had a knee injury, gets a knee injury. It Landon Robbins never Landon, I don't think was injury prone. He was just, that guy that's no, he was good, but we'll replace him, see if we can find something better. Then he gets hurt. It's nuts. They definitely do have to spend a second, maybe first, second round pick on an inside backer. So that way you have a blue chip stud there ready to go if one of these guys do comes up injured again.
Speaking of linebackers on the outside, TJ Watt was the highest graded pass rusher. Mike, I am going to dip into the ratings just for a second.
Oh yeah, baby.
Over Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett was a 91 something.
0 sacks, baby. But yeah, we're gonna rate him. Well,
look
91.
at this. Yes, TJ Watt was the highest rated. He was 92.4, and Myles Garrett, who did nothing, again over 91. So,
hey,
what are we talking about here? What are we talking about?
If this isn't doesn't give you an idea of what's going to go down in the Defensive Player of the Year voting, I would be very surprised.
It's going to go to him when it should go to someone like Max Crosby.
Yeah,
who's having an overall better season than some of these guys that are being talked about.
So that's crazy because
it's the campaign to get Myles Garrett an award.
I think that it is.
It is like it's weird. I don't understand it. He's a damn good player. Let him earn it on his own.
Give these Browns their participation trophy already. Let's move on.
Yeah. To me, it like cheapens it for him.
More linebacker news. As far as I know, Miles Jack will be wearing the green dot again. That's kind of crazy.
He's like the fifth guy to wear the green dot.
Well, last week he was, packing his toolbox, getting ready to go to the job site, and now he's wearing the green dot. I feel confident with Miles Jack at this point. I'm not real concerned. I don't think that this is going to be an issue. And again, he stepped in well last week. He got a sack, made a number of tackles. I from where we're at, what's going on right now. I mean, what else can you really do? I'm okay with Miles Jack.
Yeah, me too. And he wore it last year, so he knows the defense. He knows the system. So it should be a smooth transition. And defense really didn't look like it lost a lot when he was out there making the calls for the defense. But just Miles Jack, I think what he needs to do is just shore up some of his tackling because he had a couple missed tackles, but he's rusty, he'll shake that off. He's a pro.
Yeah. And next year he might be coming to fix your furnace. So
that's fine. That's fine. He can.
You got to support this. You got to support this guy.
Yeah, he's a struggling apprentice.
Yeah,
right now.
Despite what is being reported by the national media, Mike Tomlin did not name Rudolph the starter over Kenny. He named him the starter again if Kenny can't play. So here we are. This is Thursday. Still no confirmation. I think right now everybody's kind of comfortable with just letting Mason run with this.
I think so too.
I say let Mason play the first 3 quarters and let Kenny come in and play the fourth. I mean, go with their strengths and what they're good at, and see if we can win this football game.
Shit, man, we got to do whatever we can to win these games. I think that's just Tallman's way of I don't know. I don't know why he phrased it that way. Maybe to just motivate Kenny. Keep him motivated, not be like, hey, man, you lost your starting job. Little carrot and stick, keep him motivated, keep him, working like he's, going to be starting just in case something does happen to Mason and he's ready to go. You got it's been a while since Kenny's been the backup. He's been the starter all year, started most of last year. So keep him motivated.
I will be keeping my eye on this. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Also, for the people that, a lot of the jokes and memes of the pictures of Kenny and Mitch on the sideline, there is also a picture of Kenny cheering. Kenny was cheering.
He was like this
when GP was running the ball down the sideline on one of his touchdowns. These guys that they're pulling it together. That's what we need. We gotta stop the division at this point because, you lose one of these games, you're out. This team has to play the way they played last week. The rest of the season, they gotta play it for 6 straight games if they want to be a champion.
Yeah,
they have to win 6 straight games, which But in this weird league this year, I'm not ruling anything out.
Anything could happen, especially with these Pittsburgh Steelers,
Yeah.
They're a schizophrenic bunch, man. They might be able to pull off a 6-game winning streak.
That's what I'm saying.
They're dumb enough to do it.
They're right. They're dumb enough to do it.
And we got the right guy behind center to do it.
Right.
Because he's playing like he doesn't give a fuck. Like he's out there just playing. He's not thinking. He's just out there just doing it.
And that's what you got to do. And you got to think this guy's been, he's been studying this playbook for forever now, it feels like. And, he's at practice every day. And you would think in theory he should be out there to go be able to go out there and play good football, especially against the Seattle team whose defense isn't that good. I think that I think that we have a legit shot of winning this football game. I'm yet to figure out what kind of game I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into a shootout with Geno Smith and his core receivers. We know that. We want to keep it dirty. We want to keep it small ball. We want to give it to, the real Steeler, Jalen Warren a lot. I think, it's got to be, you got to go out there and play Steeler football in a sense that you got to go out there and beat some ass. You got to kick some ass, not in the sense that it's traditional Steeler. We're going to run and pass on third down. In the sense that we're going to punch you in the mouth, just like the Baltimore Ravens did on Monday night when they played San Francisco. They went out there and they played old AFC North football. They punched them in the mouth, and guess what? San Francisco didn't know how to respond.
No.
I think we have to go out there and have that same kind of game, and we could get the same kind of results as we did when we played, somebody like the Rams from that division.
Yeah, just like you said, man, just play physical. Just whoop some ass, because not a lot of divisions are hard-hitting like defensive divisions. Like the AFC or the NFC West. Yeah, you got San Francisco's. They're a hard-hitting defense, but we saw what happened to them once they went up to played the AFC North. We're the only team they beat. That was the first game of the year for us. We were rusty, but everyone else in the AFC North who we have beaten whooped that San Francisco ass. So, go out there and do the same thing to Seattle, man. Just pound the ball and use play action and let Mason pick them apart, with those deep passes like he was like last week against Cincinnati. And Seattle's defense is not that, like Ryan said, it's not the greatest defense in the world. My God, we should be able to run on them. They're one of the worst run defense in the league. Pass defense, they're bottom half of the league, but not as bad as Cincinnati. So we should still be able to do whatever we want against them, especially with the way the line plays the way they did last week. And, the way if everyone's engaged the way they were last week, this should be another win.
Well, this certainly shouldn't be a game that we should run away with. Here's the thing. If I think to myself, this is going to be an easy game, I often go back to Arizona. I often go back to New England. I often go back to Indianapolis. If you looked at the prior losses, Jacksonville, Houston, San Francisco, these games early on, you know what? I accept them. Them three losses that came in that streak of losses, I think were totally unacceptable. If we could, if these guys can guarantee and figure out a way to don't fall into that, whatever the hell happened in that 3 weeks, I think they're going to be fine. I think they can find a way to win a football game.
Yeah.
Again, I think the strength is, you got to figure out a way to stop these 3 receivers or get the Geno Smith and, not let him throw the ball around, or they got to figure something out. You can't let this team beat you.
Yeah.
If you could come out and play like you did last week, or as I said, prior to the 3-game losing streak, I think that we're plenty good enough to beat Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle, they're 29th in rushing yards a game with 90 yards, 15th in passing, like 230. So they're already a one-dimensional team. So you should make them even more one-dimensional just by taking away that run. And you know what? TJ Watt doesn't play the run anyway. Just pin your ears back and just hit Geno Smith. Just hit him. Just go after him. Of course, Drew Lock might come in and they have a pretty, decent backup too. But just go out there and just get to Geno. I love Geno Smith, but get to him and rattle him.
And you got to mirror him too. You got to watch him, because he's a threat. He takes off out of the backfield. He's got athleticism. He can move the ball. So, this is going to come down to our inside linebackers. It's going to be a game. This is going to be a game. I think this is going to be a good game. And, as I said, if the NFL has been any indication this year, I expect this to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Come down to the end. Maybe somebody will kick a field goal to win.
Yeah, and they don't have bad running backs either. Kenneth Walker, he's a pretty good running back. Good. Yeah, Zach Charbonnet, the dude from UCLA, second year in the league, I think, or a rookie. He's not a bad running back. So it's not like they don't have bad running backs. It's like they just don't run a ball a lot. So you have to be careful about that. They might switch it up on us, thinking we're gonna, gonna just worry about the pass and they hit us with some of those quick gainers on the running game that we're liable to give up. So, but
All right.
I think we'll be able to take away
We'll
the
be
run game,
coming
make them one
back. We'll let you
dimensional.
finish this in a second because we're going to have you talk about the keys to winning this game. Mike, real quick, what's your timer? I didn't grab the time.
I got 24 minutes in. 24 minutes in.
Any seconds?
I got no seconds in. I just know
24.
Yeah,
All
just
right,
24 minutes in. Yeah.
Good deal. So next we want to make sure I don't forget that. Here you go, Mike. Here's an interesting number for you. The other day we talked about GP getting over 1,000 yards on the season. Get this, the great Devontae Adams.
Yes, I saw this.
On the season, Devontae Adams has 85 catches for 972 yards, 5 touchdowns. You hear that, Derpy? 85 catches, 972 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's pretty average for a good receiver. Listen to what George Pickens has. 56 catches. That's 30 catches less, 29. 1,009 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, you got Devontae Adams.
Getting the ball.
Who doesn't exactly have the best quarterback situation out there either, but Aiden McConnell's been throwing the hell out of the ball, and he started the season with Jimmy G. And and considering the quarterbacks we have, for GP to be outproducing Devontae Adams like that, that just shows you the kind of receiver, the kind of player that GP is when he is, out there playing out of his mind.
Yeah, it shows you like the potential that this offense has to the players that they can build around.
You talk about best receivers in the league. Devontae Adams always comes up in the conversation.
Yeah,
always.
And George is gonna, if he can keep playing the way he did last week, get his head right. Not even that. Just looking at his numbers, people are going to start saying, "Yeah, he's one of the better receivers in the league." That's frustrating, man. This team might just be a quarterback away.
And I don't want to badmouth our quarterbacks, but I'm thinking to myself, if you get a quarterback who's competent, this 1,000 yards that George Pickens got on this season could seriously be realistically a lot higher.
Yeah, bring in Russell Wilson and his 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 picks.
Yeah.
I don't want to get on that train, but my God, if that's who we're going to go with, I got to.
On the board, I do want to say good morning to Ralph.
Morning, Ralph.
RW Media. Always great to talk to you, sir. Welcome. Steelers sign Anthony McFarland back to the practice squad.
I thought I
said say this last week. We said he wasn't going to be gone long.
He wasn't going to be gone long.
And he is not. He's back. Anthony McFarland is back on the practice squad, and the Steelers released linebacker David Perales again. So they're on this carousel of guys that are coming and going to make spots, move spots, and make it happen. So,
so we need inside backers on the roster more than we need a 4-string running back.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Hines Ward and James Harrison missed the finalist list for the Hall of Fame. They will not be going forward. Not such a surprise to many people, as Mike and I spoke on the show before about this. I'm not really surprised. I think that I think Mike kind of hit it on the head, but I think also Mike is wrong in a sense where his numbers don't stand up to the Marvin Harrisons and guys like this in his day. But there was a lot of things that I think that people could put into consideration when voting, and I think one day that's going to get him in, but it's not this year.
Yeah,
James Harrison, I think would be the guy that gets in first. I do. The guy. I mean, look.
I'm surprised he didn't make it
when he left the game. He was the top Steeler top Steeler sack leader of all time. He had amazing plays in the Super Bowl. James Harrison will be in there before Hines Ward, and I think Hines Ward deserves to be in there as well. But I do think that it will be Mr. Harrison.
I thought James Harrison should have been, like, to me,
at least for another round,
a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
His prime wasn't that long, but it was dominant. And defensive player of the year, up there, like in consideration for defensive player of the year another year. Greatest play in Super Bowl history, just a dominant force. And you look at like Terrell Davis, short career, he made it in. Kurt Warner, short career, he made it in first ballot. James Harrison, to me, is in that echelon of short career, short prime, but a dominant prime should be in. To me, Hines Ward, if it took Alan Faneca how long to get in, it should take Hines Ward even longer.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
Let me give you these.
Faneca should have been the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Here is some numbers to put this all into perspective. We were just talking about George Pickens in the season we're also talking about Hines Ward. These numbers here, guys, are the numbers of Steelers with at least 4 100+ games in a season since 2000. George Pickens came into that group last week when he did what he did and got the numbers he put up in 2023. Also, to do this is Juju Smith-Schuster did it in 2018. Mike Wallace did it in 2010. Plexico Burris did it twice. Hines Ward did it 5 times, and Antonio Brown did it 6 times. So these are your elite receivers from the year 2000 on. And as I said, Ward 5 times and AB 6 times. By number, AB is going to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, his conduct says otherwise, but Hines Ward was right there with him. I just think that you're going to have to really look at his numbers. He's not going to jump off the page at you if you're a Hall of Fame voter. You're going to have to really sit down, look at the numbers, and say, you know what, he's a Hall of Famer. He is. So, and I know,
I don't know.
And I
to me, like, he's just on the outside looking in, and that's no slap in the face to his career. It's a damn good career. But I just remember some of those other receivers in the game that were just I feared more than him. But Hines Ward, he was he was that head hunting wide receiver in an era of head hunting defensive backs.
Yeah.
Like, he flipped the script on them, but to me that's great. I loved it. It was game changing, but I don't think it's enough for Hall of Fame worth. But
I think
he is a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl
what
MVP.
happened was where a lot of times MVP or Hall of Fame receivers, they spend the last couple of years of their career padding their stats. For example, Jerry Rice goes out to play for the Raiders. He, in the Denver Broncos, he's padding his stats basically at that point. He's not, trying to win no championship. And I think what happened with Hines Ward was he was putting up great numbers, and then you have AB climbing up your back. So it wasn't like Hines Ward could have exactly padded his numbers and have Ben just throw to him like a lot of these other guys do. He had AB climbing the charts, and AB was putting up his numbers.
And he had Santonio Holmes, Plex. He had same time.
So, I mean,
there's always receivers around him,
right?
But you can also argue, hey, if he's a true number one, that shouldn't have affected him. He should have still got his.
Well, there was
numbers
what more could he have done though? I mean, he did everything that he was asked.
Oh yeah, he did everything he asked and more. I don't know. I think of like Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Calvin Johnson.
I don't think these guys were that great compared to Hines. I don't.
I think they were like.
Of course, they are great receivers, but I don't put them.
Bolden, Larry Fitzgerald.
I don't. Larry Fitzgerald, yes, but I don't put Anquan Bolden head and shoulders above Hines. I just don't. I don't think that's even close to being accurate. But Mike, we do have to move on here. We got one other interesting wide receiver note. Plexico Burris's 2 touchdowns of 60+ yards. This game was only done one other time in Steeler history. Any one of you fellas have a guess on who the other player was that had 2 60+ yard touchdowns in a game for the Steelers? Mike, any guess?
John Stallworth?
Derpy, any guess?
Antonio Brown?
Close, both of you guys. Close, but not close. The answer was Louis Lips, fellas. Louis Lips.
Oh, forgotten Steeler.
By way of Bubby Brister. Brister threw both of these passes for 2 different 60+ yard touchdown plays to Louis Lips back in the day. I don't even have the date. I don't even know if they went by dates that it was so far back. Mike, it is time. Now what I need right now, Mike, I need your keys. Right. I need your keys. Give me your keys to beating Seattle.
My keys to beating Seattle. Jerry Porter, you have to shut down DK Metcalf. You have to. Yeah, they still have 2 other good. They still have, they got Noah Fant, tight end, right? They have Noah Fant. Yeah. And then they have 2 other good wide receivers. Just take DJ Metcalf out the game. Don't let their run game take off because they're already one-dimensional. Keep them completely one-dimensional to where you just have to focus on the passing game, but don't ignore the run game. Offense, balance. Like I said, their run defense is not that good, but their passing defense isn't that. It's middle of the road, man. So ground and pound. Get Jalen Warren running. Get Najee going too. And Pat Freiermuth, man. Pat Fry, he's the forgotten guy that's, after last week, man. Find him in the middle again. Because you get that middle of the field open, that just opens up everything else, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. We got to do it's. I think there's a lot of things that need to be done this game. For one,
A lot.
they just can't. They
score more points.
I
Don't
think
turn the ball
one
over.
is the X factor. You got to come out and play like a football team. If we see anything that resembles the 3 games prior to last week, I say we got the season's over. The first thing that I say you have to see is this team comes out and they have heart. You can see in their eyes that they're ready to play. Anything besides that, you could already start. So many things. As you said, also the point that you made about Joey Porter covering Metcalf, covering him is one thing, but the guy's a physical specimen.
Yeah.
So even a player that has a little bit of trouble making tackles, which he's gotten better, certainly I could attest to. I think that covering and trying to figure a way to get DK Metcalf to the ground is going to be a challenge for this team, while also picking up Lockett and Smith and Jigba. So that's going to be their strength. Their strength is going to be those 3 guys running all over the field. And the big challenge is our defense trying to stop that. And that really is a hard thing for our defense to do.
And just don't forget about their tight end, man. Don't forget about their tight end.
All right, guys, this is time for the over-unders for this week. We got to do them a day early because of our holiday schedule. Here we go. Derpy. Mike, you ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Derpy.
All right, over or under. Mason Rudolph, Mike, 1.5 touchdowns. What do you think? Does Mason Rudolph have more or less than 1.5 touchdowns?
I'm taking the over. He's going to continue, man.
Derpy, same question over to you. Does Mason Rudolph have more or less than 1.5 touchdowns?
Give me the over.
All right, I like
Derpy, let's go.
Najee or Warren. Now, this is between either of them, but it's an individual. Do either one of these guys have 100 yards rushing?
I'm going to take the under.
Derpy, 100 yards.
Under as well.
All right. George Pickens, half a touchdown. Does he score a touchdown or no?
I'm taking the over.
Derpy, GP, touchdown or no?
GP all day. Give me the over.
Deontay Johnson, does he have a half touchdown? Has he got a touchdown or no in this game?
I'm taking the over.
Derpy, DJ.
I'm taking the under.
All right. Pat Fryermuth, 1.5 catches. Pat Fryermuth, Mike, 1.5 catches, over or under?
I'm taking the over.
Derby, Pat Fryermuth, 1.5 catches, over, under. What do you think?
Over.
Finally, on the offense commits 1.5 turnovers, over or under? Offense commits 1.5 turnovers, over or under?
I'm going to take the over.
Derby, offensive turnovers, 1.5.
Over.
All right, over to the defense. TJ Watt, half sack. Does TJ Watt get a sack or no?
Oh, I'm taking the over big time.
Miles Derp, I'm sorry. TJ Watt, sack or no sack?
Defensive player of the year. Over.
Miles Jack, Mike, 6.5 tackles, over or under? Miles Jack, 6.5 tackles, over or under?
Over.
Derpy, Miles Jack, 6.5 tackles, over or under?
Under.
Defensive turnovers caused by our defense, 1.5. 1.5 turnovers caused by our defense, Mike, over or under?
Under.
Derpy, defensive turnovers caused, 1.5, over or under?
Under.
Boz, 1.5 field goals in this football game. Mike, over or under?
Over.
Derpy, Chris Boswell, 1.5 field goals in this football game. Over or under?
Over.
And finally, devastating injuries. Will there be an injury in this football game that's going to affect a player? For example, last week, Landon Roberts was a devastating injury. You go back through the season, you find a number of them. That's why we did add this to the list. Mike, devastating injuries for the Pittsburgh Steelers this coming Sunday, New Year's Eve against the Seahawks, 1/2. Do we have a player that goes down, or do we not have a player that goes down with a serious injury?
We do. It's our curse.
And over to you, Derpy. Same exact question. 1/2 of a devastating injury. Will it happen? Will it occur again, Derpy? More or less? Will it happen or will it not happen?
Why you got to curse us with this, Ryan?
It's always it always matters the way you answer. That's all. The question doesn't. The question don't affect it. It's the answer.
Fair enough.
So there you go, guys. That is the over under for this game. I expect a good one. By the way the guys picked, I think they do as well. Guys, we do have to get to our picks because again, we're scrunching 2 days worth of show into one. Let me give you the current playoff picture as we speak before we get into that. Number 1 in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens. If the playoffs started today, the number 2 Miami Dolphins would be playing the Indianapolis Colts, who are the number 7 seed at the moment. We're trying to get into that spot. Number 3 Kansas City would be playing number 6 Buffalo, and number 4 Jacksonville would be playing number 5 Cleveland. So there's some good games that would be happening. I think that Cleveland could have a legitimate shot, guys. If you look at this, they play Jacksonville, who's not playing good football at the time. That's a first round win. Once you get in the second round with that defense, I think anything is possible. I hate to say it, but I do see the Cleveland. They might have a good shot this year, guys.
That's your Cleveland Browns, Ryan.
Also,
your Cleveland Browns are Super Bowl bound.
Also in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers would have the bye at the moment. Number 2 Philly will be taking on number 7 Seattle, who are playing this week. Also, the number 3 Detroit Lions would be playing the number 6 LA Rams. And finally, the number 4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be playing the number 5 Dallas Cowboys. So many teams we played or are still going to play in this playoff picture. As we said, as the season went on, our schedule got a lot stronger than it was prior to the season.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not too disappointed where we are, but it's like the losses that we have are disappointing. Like we beat teams we should have lost to teams we should have beat.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it goes when you have these kind of years. When you get these kind of weird years, that's what you get,
You know what? Not bad for a rebuilding year.
No.
I'm going to keep saying that until we win.
Yeah, well,
that's my new mantra.
We got to see how long we're rebuilding.
Hey, it takes a while.
Ralph on the board said Cleveland Browns. Who would have thought?
Cleveland fans for the past 20 years. It's been their year every year. Off-season champs, baby.
Ain't that the truth? So let me go ahead and turn over to our games. We do have to have our picks in by today. Derpy said he's ready. We were in pre-show.
We're in rare form. Derpy's ready to do picks.
I right?
Are you feeling okay, Derpy? Are you turning over a new leaf?
Is this part of your New Year's resolution, Derpy?
Yes.
All right.
Man of brevity.
Every time his parents make him wear that pink bunny costume from Aunt Clara, he gets like this. All right, guys.
I'd pay good money to see that.
I would too. All right. First game tonight, guys. Thursday night football. Jets at Browns. Mike, I'm gonna start with you. I think you did win last week.
Yeah, I won last week.
Mike, do you want to go first, or you?
I'll go first.
Defer?
I'll go first. I'm taking the Cleveland Browns. They're on a roll, man.
All right, Derpy. First game of the week, which is tonight. The Browns are hosting the Jets. I'm sorry. Mike took the Browns. Who do you got?
This one's for my mother. Give me the Browns.
All right.
It's too late to suck up, Derpy. Christmas is past.
I know. What do you want?
Dang
it.
Come
on now. It's a rookie mistake, man. A rookie mistake.
The only game on Saturday this week. The only game on Saturday. It's at 8:15 start at Dallas. This is a good one, guys. The Lions, the Cowboys. Mike, the Lions at the Cowboys.
I'm taking. It's at Dallas. I'm going to take Dallas since it's at home.
All right.
They're trying to shake off that fraud label, so look for them to pull one out.
They got to beat somebody with a winning record at some point if they want to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Derpy, same question over to you. The Lions or the Cowboys? It's at Dallas.
Dallas bounce back.
Both he's going against Detroit. Into the Sunday games, guys. 1:00. Titans at Texans. Titans at Texans, guys. Who do you think?
Let's go Tennessee. With a little bit of an upset. I think they have one left in them, and it's going to be this one.
Derpy, Titans at Texans.
Tennessee as well.
Oh, picking against CJ Stroud. Interesting.
But it's going to help the Steelers. I see.
I know, yeah. That's why I kind of picked it too. A little wishful thinking.
Falcons at the Bears. Also 1:00 on Sunday, guys. Falcons at the Bears.
I'm going to take Chicago. I think Justin Fields is playing to keep his Chicago Bears career alive. I think he likes it there. I think he likes the guys there, and I'll look for him to ball out and rally that team.
Derpy, over to you. Same question. Falcons at Bears.
Bears.
At the Falcons in first place over there. They're looking to wrap it up.
Give me the Bears.
The Bears as well. Huh? No, they're not. Tampa Bay's in first place. Next game on the list, fellas, another good one. Dolphins at the Ravens. The Dolphins at the Ravens. This game's big for the Steelers because if the Ravens win, They lock up the number 1 seed in the AFC, and it means there's a pretty good chance we're not going to see all their starters at least next week in the last game of the season. And it kind of sucks. Well, I guess it don't suck because we do play earlier, or we play later. I'm sorry, so we get to watch that game play out and know what we're expecting. So, guys, this game, Dolphins at the Ravens. Mike,
I'm taking the Ravens, man. The Dolphins, what their one win was against the Cowboys.
Yeah,
like they also haven't really beaten anyone with a winning record. And the way we saw what Baltimore did against San Francisco, I look for them to continue that, man. They look like a team that's primed for a deep playoff, maybe even a Super Bowl run. All three phases of their game are playing very well.
A Cleveland and Baltimore AFC championship.
That would be wild. That would be wild. That would be a damn good game. The atmosphere would be nuts.
My brain just got paralyzed.
Yeah. I kind of short circuited there for a second too, but give me the Art Modell Bowl, boys.
Derpy. Baltimore's they're hosting the Miami Dolphins. Who do you like?
Give me 2 on the Dolphins.
Ooh.
See, I kind of think Miami's going to win too. The Saints at the Buccaneers. This is the first place team in the NFC South I was talking about. The Buccaneers, guys. Mike, Saints at Tampa.
Get me Baker Mayfield, baby. And the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Derpy, Saints at Buccaneers.
Shake and bake. Give me Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers.
All right. Patriots at the Bills, Mike. Any chance? And I'm not still convinced. Here's another weird thing about this season. At one time, this Buffalo Bills team can't do anything right, and then the next week they come out and they just dominate on it. It doesn't make sense to me. A lot of these things that are happening in the league, so that's what kind of keeps these games, up in the air for me. And I'm starting to wonder if that's the point. If that's something is going on to make these games more interesting. But that's for another time. Mike, Patriots at the Bills.
I am going to take the Buffalo Bills, even with all their ups and downs. They've been a more consistent team than New England.
Derpy, the Patriots at the Bills.
Give me Buffalo.
All right, good enough. Next game, a battle with the Birds. The Arizona Cardinals, who beat the Steelers. They beat the Cowboys. Now they're going to Philadelphia to face Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. Any chance, Mike, do you think that the Cardinals could walk away with the win over Philadelphia?
I so want to pick the upset. But I also want to beat Derpy.
Yeah. The most important part.
Yeah, that's the most important part. I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles.
Derpy, Cardinals, Eagles. Who do you think?
Give me the Eagles.
All right. Here's one that ought to be fun. The Panthers at the Jaguars. Hurt, not playing well. Jacksonville. Panthers, I think they got 2 wins. Mike, Panthers at the Jaguars.
This is my upset special of the week. Give me the Panthers.
The Jaguars, that would help, that would help us.
That would help us. I'm just thinking everything's going on with Jacksonville right now, man. The curse of the terrible towns,
Yes.
They've been losing.
2-5 since that game.
2-5. Trevor Lawrence, the guy who didn't even touch the terrible towels, getting hurt.
And I do want to say happy birthday. Happy birthday to the terrible towel. Yesterday was the terrible towel's happy birthday.
Yeah, so give me the Carolina Panthers and the little midget at quarterback. Wee man back there.
All right, Derpy. Oh, I thought you were talking about Derpy. Derpy, the Panthers at the Jaguars. Who do you like?
Give me the Jags.
All right. Raiders at Colts. The Raiders at Colts. The hated Raiders. They're going to give us another reason to hate them. We need them to beat the Colts. Can the hated Raiders beat the Colts? Mike, who do you think?
No, I don't know. They're coming off that upset win over the Chiefs.
Didn't they put up 63 points 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but then Aiden O'Connell just shat the bed last week. He didn't complete a pass in the entire second half. Or like entire 3 quarters, and they still won the game. That defense, I think it's going to be a little bit of a letdown emotionally. I'm going to take the Colts.
Team, they just beat Kansas City. They put up 63 2 weeks ago. and you're saying they're going to lose to the Colts.
But yeah, I think that it's such an emotional high from last week. It's going to be a little bit of a letdown.
Interesting. Derpy, over
Yeah,
to
I
you.
know. A little human
Colts as
element.
well.
Ooh.
Colts as well. All right. Next game on the list, fellas, the Rams at the Giants. The Giants, do they have anything left in the tank? They got Danny DeVito over there. Mike, the Rams at the Giants.
Give me the Rams. Danny DeVito's been benched. Tyrod Taylor's now in.
I forgot Tyrod Taylor is playing.
Yeah,
And you know what? The Rams are in the playoffs at this moment.
yeah.
They're the sixth seed.
Yeah, I saw a tweet. People were like, is Tyrod Taylor Italian? Can we keep this thing going?
Tyrod Taylor sounds like a car part, don't he?
He does. Like, you should be buying a car off of him.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
shady lot, you know.
Bring your car down, Mike. I'll replace the Tyrod Taylor. You could have it back today. Derpy, over to you. Same question. The Rams at the Giants. Who do you think?
All hail the New York Giants. Give me the
Wow.
Giants.
All right. Interesting. Yeah. The 49ers at the Commanders. Mike, these 49ers are going to be pissed after they just took that ass beating.
The Commanders they just benched Sam Howell. And who are they? I forget who their backup is. Who's starting there? But he's going to get his ass whooped. Yeah, give me Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett's going to get whooped. Bosa is going to be taking out all of his frustrations on Brissett. So give me the 49ers.
Derpy, San Francisco at Washington. Who do you like?
49ers.
All right, fellas, a few games left. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a 425 game on Sunday on New Year's Eve. Mike, Bengals at the Chiefs.
Chiefs are going to be looking for a little revenge.
1 year ago, this would have been a great game.
What? Yeah.
Now, who knows what the hell happened to Kansas City and Cincinnati's without a couple of their star players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give me KC.
Derpy, Kansas City's at home against Cincinnati. Who do you like?
Give me Taylor Swift and the Chiefs.
All right. Chargers at Broncos. Mike.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. Two idiot coaches, two backup quarterbacks playing. I'm taking the Chargers because I don't see the rest of the Broncos being happy to have Stedman, Stickman, whoever their backup quarterback
Easton Stick, man.
Is it Easton Stick?
Yes. It's like a baseball bat.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be rallying around Easton Stick out there in Denver.
Oh no, that's San Diego. That's the Chargers.
San Diego. No, Easton Stick, you're right. It's what the fuck's his name? I'm looking. I can't see him anywhere. Hold on, depth chart. Jarrett Stidham. That's who
Jarrett
it is.
Stidham. Come on.
Stidham and Stickman or Eastman or whatever. That's a matchup right there made in heaven. That's Brady Manning, esque. Yeah,
Chargers, Broncos, Derpy.
Broncos.
Ooh. Broncos country. Let's ride.
Just because they're running game.
The night game on Sunday is the Packers at the Vikings, NFC North showdown. This is the battle for second place. Packers at Vikings, Mike.
I honestly don't know. This is a tough one for me to pick. Give me Green Bay on the road.
Derpy, same question to you. Green Bay at Minnesota. Who do you think?
I've been high on Jordan Love. Give me the Packers.
All right, guys, that brings us to the game of the week. This is a 4:05 game on Sunday, New Year's Eve. The Steelers will be traveling across the country to play the Seattle Seahawks in front of the 12th man and everything they got going on over there. So I'm going to need a prediction. I'm going to need a score. Mike, I'm going to start with you. Steelers at Seahawks.
Give me the Seattle Seahawks 28-21.
28-21. Interesting. 49-point total. Derpy, over to you. I'm going to need your pick, and I'm going to need a score for tiebreaker reasons. What do you got?
28. I take that back. 31-14.
Oh, with the scoring with you two guys.
Ooh.
Interesting. So we got a 45-point pick for Derpy.
Who
We got
Derpy picked to win? He just
Derpy.
gave a score.
I think he said
Seattle.
the Steelers. It
Oh,
was
you said Seattle. Okay. Derpy just said gave a score and is trying to fly under the radar.
Ian's both taking the reverse psychology approach.
No.
Do you
I
think
think
Seattle's going to win this football game?
I think they're getting a last second touchdown and extra point. Yeah.
Derpy, you're doing the reverse psychology, I think, aren't
Reverse psychology.
you? Derpy, yeah. Derpy likes to outsmart everybody.
He does. I hope Derpy's right. I hope it works. I just have a feeling we're gonna lose on a last second touchdown type thing.
That is the picks, though, guys. They are in and they are official. And the next time that we're back on, we're going to actually be going over them and seeing how we did.
Yeah.
Guys, let's get back to the hockey real quick before we start to wrap things up. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they scored a touchdown last night against the New York Islanders. Back to the way it should be. The Penguins beating up on the Islanders. These are the games that I've grown with. Islanders always getting their ass kicked by us. The Penguins, they increased their record to 16-13-4 with this win. The Islanders dropped to 16-19-9, 7-0. And again, Mike, here's another shutout for Jari.
I love it. Not only did Jari get the shutout, well deserved. Chris Letang scored 6 points.
Yes,
6 points. That's what tied a record, and then he had 5 points in one period. That is
a record.
That is a record for defenseman points in one period. It couldn't happen to a better player and a better human being. Well deserved to everyone. Well deserved to Jari. Well deserved to Letang. And I think they did all this, if I read it right. Crosby did not have a single shot on goal.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not watch the game. I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to watch the either. I watched some highlights and I was reading about it. And one thing I read was like someone online was like, they did all this. Crosby had 0 shots on goal.
That's wild. The Penguins host the St. Louis Blues on Saturday, 7 p.m. is the next game. Check it out.
So my whole thing is that Crosby didn't get a shot on goal. They needed to trade his bum ass.
You're right.
He's holding the team back.
I'm sure he'll come out next game and score a handful.
Score like 3 goals, have a hattie,
Question of the day, guys. Last Seattle Seahawks question of the day or of the year. This is going to be it once we get Seattle out of the way. Are you ready for a Seattle Seahawks trivia question, guys?
I'm ready for some Seahawks trivia.
Derpy?
Ready.
All right, here we go. What was the first team the Seattle Seahawks ever played? What was the first team the Seattle Seahawks ever played? Think it over. I'll give you answers in a moment if you'd like, but we are live, everybody. We're live 7 days a week, 5 days a week from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. every day right here. Also, the show that we do live every day, we upload over on Spotify at 8 o'clock p.m. Brand new. If you're at the gym, you're in the car, you only get a chance to listen to the show, go to Spotify and check us out. Yes, that's 5 days a week. I was thinking something else because we are on our holiday schedule now. We'll be back Tuesday to kick off the new year, and then we'll be back to our normal schedule at that point. Guys, what was the first team the Steelers ever played? This is kind of a question you're just going to have to guess on. There's, nobody probably knows this anywhere, but I'll give you some choices if you want them. Do you want the choices, Mike?
Yeah, give me some choices.
All right. The first team the Seattle Seahawks ever played, was it the Steelers? Was it the Buccaneers? Was it the Packers? Or was it the 49ers? Derpy, first team the Seattle Seahawks ever played. Steelers, Buccaneers, Packers, 49ers. Mike?
Screw it. Let's go Steelers.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Derpy, who do you like? Who's the first team? Who's the first team that the Seahawks ever played? Got Mike locked in. Steelers, Buccaneers, Packers, or 49ers?
Give me the Packers.
And Derpy says the Packers. All right, good enough. Guys, this your final Seattle Seahawks question. What was the first team the Seattle Seahawks ever played? Steelers, Buccaneers, Packers, 49ers. Mike says the Steelers. Derpy says the Packers. The answer, guys, is the 49ers. Back on August 1st, 1976 was a preseason game. That was the very first team that the Seattle Seahawks ever played. The Niners. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to wrap it up?
I got nothing, man. Let's just win it out. This is typical Steelers fashion, man. Right down to the wire.
Derpy.
Yeah.
Win the game. Simple as that.
Derpy.
Mine is this. I think next week when we come back, we're going to talk about your resolutions, guys. So think long and think hard. And now, even if you don't do New Year's resolutions, we're going to do one anyway for the show. Everybody's going to do a resolution. When we come back on Tuesday, we're going to talk about it. But everybody's got to have a resolution for the show, and
Oh,
we're going to keep track and we're going to monitor to make sure
Ooh.
everyone
accountability.
accountability keeps their resolution. So, Derpy, you think on that. Mike, likewise, I'll do the same.
Yes.
We do want to thank everybody for checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. As always, wouldn't do it without you. Mike, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I got nothing. Let's go Steelers, man. Get that win. Even though I picked against you, get that win.
Derpy.
I want my TJ Watt tattoo.
All right, fellas, everybody at home, everybody have a safe new year. Be super careful. Don't drink and drive. If you do, make sure you have a designated driver. We want to see everybody back next week. We'll be back first thing Tuesday morning, back on our normal schedule. But everybody enjoy the rest of your holiday season.
Yes.
Happy New Year's. Let's go Steelers, because we want to get ready for Baltimore next week. It's
Heck
still in
yeah.
contention. So, guys, seriously, be safe out there. Have a
Yes.
great New Year's.
Yes.
Go Steelers. For two dumb Yinzers, Derpy.